Good morning. Been so hot out. I have to get up at sunrise to get anything done. Tide is way out this morning. Got it on dead low tide. So I wanted to make a video of what I was planting in July, but I didn't get very good footage. I failed at that this time. So what I'm going to do now, I thought I'm going to go around and give a full garden tour. I'm going to talk about everything all around the garden, and I'll split it up into several videos. And I'll tell you what I planted in July as I'm going around, and if I can use that footage, I'll poke it in here and there to show you me planting it. So I hope you enjoy it'll be a series. Hope you enjoy a little series of garden tours to do a complete look over of the garden. Okay, now that I've had breakfast and coffee, let's continue. Grapevines, they grow like crazy. Going to have to cut them back because it's going to wrap around that post and going to have me trapped in. Remember the last time I showed you this path, the grapevines wasn't even out here? Let's go up here because all these pink flowers, that's Italian oregano. But from here all the way up to here, that's chives with grasses and other things growing among them. I want to take them up. I'll take them up with the edging spade, like I would cut out a piece of sod. Now just lift them up, get all the other plants out of them, maybe put some compost down there and just put them back there, and then for a while I'll be able to harvest chives right there, because right now I harvest chives and I've got a handful of chives and grass and a bunch of other plants. These plants here, this is oregano, it's Italian oregano, and they grow up long stems, nice and straight. It's not like the Greek oregano that grows kind of like a bush. They spread two ways. You put them in and they'll grow on it as a clump, like those grasses that doesn't have rhizomes. You can put in a plug of grass and the clump will get larger and larger, just by new plants growing right up beside the outside edge of the clump. And the other thing is they can be spread by seed, which is where this come from. The original planting, you see, it starts here and go all the way up around and down here and a little patch right there. The original was right here. So this is the herbs that I have to clear up all the stuff away from. Now, is this one? Yeah, that's mint. I got confirmed on a few videos. I mentioned that I don't think that's lemon balm. That's some kind of mint. And so now we're down on the other side, up there by the oregano, and it comes all the way down through this mess down to here. So I confirmed with my mother that that is peppermint. And you see there's more growing there. This here, down close to the deck, however, you can see that the leaves are slightly different. This is lemon balm. You see, he got a wider, rounder leaf. But due to spreading by seed and rhizomes and whatnot, lemon balm is several places in the garden, so I'll have no trouble getting lemon balm. For that and mints, I want to do either a raised bed here or maybe a planter. I'm leaning towards a large planter that I can, if I want to move it, I could just stick the anchor in under it and move it. For both, I have one for the lemon balm and one for the mint, and if I get other mints, just keep adding on to a container garden of mints. I planted out the tomatoes on July 3rd. Now I don't have them staked up yet. I wanted to show you. So this one is pretty steady. This one, you see, is laying down and growing off that way. Actually, it looks like I've got two leaders here now. That one's leaning over. This one in here is using the wall for support. So the ones that are leaning over, I'm going to make 36 because I have 36 tomato plants. So 36 poles, put one down by each tomato plant and tie them up to it to have, so that they're not laying completely on the ground. This is Berkeley tie-dye, and it is the second best that I got growing of the transplants. These, check out this. And there was one on this one in here. Can't see where he is now. There was another, really, no he's not, he's down here. So that's a multiple flower, and it's going to give one of those huge cat-facey type tomatoes. But they are flowering really nicely, and it's they started to flower about a week ago, I think. So that would have been, this is the 24th, so the 17th of July. I left that potato plant there because, well, just because. This is a heirloom butternut. Very old seed actually, but it's just starting to flower now and starting to vine out, so that's good. I'll get the squash from that. And then we'll go down the other side. Here I have, the first one is Beaver Lodge Slicer. So you see it's flowering out good. They were a little bit later, but most of the tomatoes are flowering now. There's 3 Beaver Lodge Slicer. Then there's 3 Early Siberian. This is nice. This is the David Davisons that I got as a gift for participating in Shed Wars the first year. Got 2 David Davisons, so I can get fresh seed now. Then there's Speckled Roman. I have 3 Speckled Roman, 3 Brandywine, and 2 Sunrise Bumblebee. This squash here is a zucchini dark green. So I really hope that one produces, but he's a little slow. This bed by the front fence is getting pretty full. These are starting to flower. This was my best of the transplants for tomatoes, and they're looking beautiful. And several flowers coming out on them now. They were beautiful when I put them in, and they were still looking beautiful, growing great. The other thing in here is onions. Now initially I just put the red spring onions in here. You see, that one's red. And my idea is that I'm just going to leave the red ones in there and let them go to seed next year, so I can hopefully get some better seed than what I've got now. Then I add some extra Alyssa Craig and Kelsey onions. I don't know which. The cucamelons, none of those survived. I have over here right there, that's a I gotta find the sign. Market More. So that's a Market More cucumber there. And there's another one growing much better here. This is the Market More cucumber. A bush crop cucumber seems to do very well. That's a bush crop cucumber there, a small one. But then there's another one growing better, and there's a really good one. They're flowering, so I'll get the cucumbers off them this year. You see the flowers down there? So there's 2 beautiful ones there. And there's 5 or 6 something plants there. They are not the best for pickles, but that's a matter of personal preference. You can make pickles from them. But those crunchy pickles that you know from the store, you're not going to get with bush crop cucumbers. But they are beautiful for fresh eating and relish, and whatever. You can make whatever you want of them, really. These squash here, my records show I noticed them on July the 4th, so just after I planted tomatoes here, I noticed these squash popping up. And now, as you can see, they're nice and big. I tried to transplant one, and I broke the root, so I didn't bother to try to transplant anymore. But there's 11 squash plants here. Flower buds just starting. Of course, they're volunteers. There's the female flower bud on that one. They're volunteers, so we won't know what they are until they actually produce. With that little mowed strip, this is the center fence portion. It's actually looking quite nice, and I have, of course, Sweet William and that down in the ditch here, but the daisies and the echinacea will be flowering soon. The columbine is kind of getting towards done now, and it's leaning over. I don't remember it doing that last year, but leaning over quite a bit. And you see there's the echinacea. This will be the first year flowering. I put that in there last year, so that's exciting because now the other echinacea I have is white. This one is supposed to be purple. I put some seeds in. They're all neon pumpkin, and that's what those squash are. I don't know if they'll come to anything. Well, that's weather dependent, right? And there's another echinacea here. We'll go along. Here's a wood sorrel. So small leaves, but it is a really delicious salad green. And there's another echinacea, and that's that wild yellow flower. And another couple I set by seed. Liatris hasn't flowered yet, but about ready to. Here's the 2 runts of tomatoes I had. I think I showed them in a video before, but they were just little tiny things. And I put them here, and they're growing good, and this one's flowering. This is the only plant I have of Liata, or Lata, L-A-T-A-H. That's the only one I have, and it's flowering. This one doesn't seem to have flowers on it yet, but it will. A couple of squash that I planted as seed. These things are volunteer radish. That one I put there as a plant, neon pumpkin. This is the Greek oregano. This is the best neon pumpkin plant I had. It did put out some male flowers. It hasn't put out a female flower yet, but it looks like it's just starting now. There's peas planted along by the fence. They didn't all come up. And I'm getting a lot of volunteer tomatoes come up. There's another one there. Another one there. A bigger one down here. They're all volunteer tomatoes, so I don't know what kind of tomato it is. That's the gold pearls plant that I had growing in the house. I brought it out here and planted it. It doesn't seem to be loving it, but we'll see what happens. Now this looks more like a mustard green. Let me taste it and see. No. Oh yeah. Wait for the aftertaste. It's mustard, alright. A few more pea plants back by the fence. Third portion of the front fence. On the outside, there's another echinacea. See, I got this cleared out so I can show you the columbine easy now. Daisies. Those columbines, they won't flower until next year. More along there, but they're so small that I'm missing them now. And that's another echinacea. Now on the inside, A local gardener, she finished planting her potatoes and she had a few left over, so she sent them over to me. Beautiful seed potatoes. There was one kind that I didn't have that version of, so that's planted somewhere else. So you see all this grass clippings. I decided to try an experiment, and I laid them out, red potatoes and a white potato that could be Kennebec. That's what I'm thinking, but it doesn't matter. I'm just if I harvest anything from here, what I harvest I just go into as unknown. It's just an experiment with the Ruth Stout method of growing potatoes along here. Now, planted very late, July the 16th or something or other. So last year I planted potatoes July the 6th. These have been planted on July the 16th. We have time. I don't know about the Kennebecs, but we have time for the red ones for sure. There's another liatris here at the beginning. A bunch of daisies. These grapevines, they're coming along. I haven't noticed any flowers on this one yet. Over here, see the flowers have come and gone. The grapes are growing now. I have 2 bunches there. Not big ones, but I mean this is a very young grapevine, so you wouldn't expect there to be very much. Each year now, they'll get better and better, and I have to come by and see how to train this out along the fence. This is growing up straight here, but I'm going to have to cut those tendrils and just splay the grapevine out so that it's growing up and down the fence instead of just trying to grow straight up into the sky. I have a couple of maple trees started that I'm planning on digging up. The other one's over by the base of that grapevine. Last year, this one, it was a little tiny thing, and now it's growing much bigger this year. That's the other lovage I have. St. John's wort here is doing beautifully and flowering. The bees are loving it. The potatoes that I was planted along here, I have some planted right in around this maple tree as well. Well, 20 minutes is gone, and we've got around the house and along by the front fence. Next video we'll have to go up here. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video.